Hello, this video is super long because you guys had a lot of questions, and you had trouble finding answers amongst all the videos that I had, so I decided I'm gonna answer as many questions as possible in one video. So it's an expansion, and I add more details on how to be your own bank in this video. So if some bits you already know, just skip ahead using the timestamps. I put tons and tons of timestamps down below. So just skip to the bits where that you want to listen to. You can go back and forth, whatever. The timestamps are there to help you navigate through this very long video. But I explained just about all the questions that you guys had. I received hundreds of questions about how to be your own bank, so it's a very popular video. So to help you out, this is the video, 3 hours long with zillions of timestamps. Enjoy. Welcome to DeFi Crypto Today. Our topic today is Be Your Own Bank, BYOB, Part 2. Since the last Be Your Own Bank video, I had a zillion questions. A lot of things were not as clear as I expected they would have been. So we're going to review a few topics, and we're going to expand on them. And we're going to go through every single little possible steps on Abracadabra, on how to take an asset, put it as collateral, borrow MEMS against it, and pay it back, pay back the loan, and take out the asset. Okay? I want to make sure everything's super clear, because some people were having trouble, and I want to make sure everybody understands everything they need to know, so that it's easy to do. Because honestly, finance and banking is really not that hard. They want to make it look hard so that regular people don't have access to it. But in essence, you know, you deposit money, you borrow money. It's not that much harder than that. Money goes from one pocket, go to another pocket. That's about it. That's finance. Okay, it's really not that crazy hard. It's a little bit of math in there, but not crazy math also. Watch the APY calculation video down below. There's a link if you want to calculate by yourself. Super easy. 30 seconds, you know how to calculate anything. All right, so first of all, I wanted to talk about this guy. Maybe you know him. He's pretty famous now. He's supposed to be the richest man in the world, with about $300 billion now, and Tesla stock went up recently. Now, a lot of people said, why that guy doesn't pay taxes? He's worth $300 billion. Well, he does pay some taxes some years when he has taxable events. Okay? He does not need to have a lot of taxable events. Why? Because he has an asset that keeps growing and growing and growing and growing and growing. It's Tesla stock, for instance. Okay, he has other assets too, but let's just focus on Tesla for now, just to make it simple. So he has his Tesla shares. For people that read the news, originally he invested 70 million of his own money. That money came from his PayPal investment years before that. So he put 70 million in Tesla. Today it's worth 300 billion. Do the math, that's a lot. A big increase. It's like Bitcoin going from 0 to 63,000 right now, give or take. Okay, it's huge. So there are some similarities between the stock market and the crypto world. Okay, you have some assets that increase in value over time, like the Tesla stock or Bitcoin or the wrapped Memo or the wrapped staked OHM okay, which we know and love. And this guy uses the same strategy I talked about in the first Be Your Own Bank video. That guy's his own bank. I'm going to read quickly what they're talking about, and you'll see it's the same thing I was telling you about last time. So, it says here, Elon Musk paid less than $70,000 in federal income tax between 2015 and 2017, and it did not pay anything in 2018, according to recent reports. This article is from 2019, I believe. He did pay his taxes in 2016 by exercising more than $1 billion in stock options. From time to time, he has stock options that vest, and at that moment, that's a taxable event, and he has to pay some taxes on that. And it's a lot of taxes. It's not $2-3. Now, this is the most important part of the article. He lives off loans made from his stock options, meaning he does not take a salary from his company. Why does he do that? A salary is taxable. When you receive a salary, let's say you work for a company and you get a paycheck every month or every 2 weeks or whatever it is in your case, each time you get your paycheck, that's a taxable event. And the government wants its share. If you take off a loan against an asset that you have, like a property, like a house, some stocks, like in this case, or crypto, like we're going to explain today, those are not taxable events. A loan is not income, it's cash flow. You have to see the difference between income and cash flows. You can have a lot of cash in your hand, and that's not income. You can have a lot of income and no cash in your hand. I know, it sounds crazy, but that's taxation, okay? All right. So, what is important here? So here, how does Elon Musk avoid paying taxes? The answer is that he borrows money from Tesla without taking a salary from his own company. Through stock options, Musk takes out loans against his company's shares to fund his Tesla projects, which he does not owe income tax for, and also deducts some of the interest on those loans from his taxes. So not only is he allowed to get cash flow by borrowing against his stocks, but the interest that he pays on that loan is tax deductible. Okay, so this guy uses what all super rich people know, in that a lot of poorer or middle income people don't know, is that salaries are taxable events and loans are not taxable events. And also, they own assets and they never freaking sell them. Elon Musk will never sell his Tesla shares ever. Why should he? The stock keeps going up. And the more it grows, the more he can borrow against it. And the richer he gets. And he still doesn't have to pay taxes on that. It's a little bit like you have a house, okay, that you bought like, let's say, 40, 50 years ago. It's super cheap. Maybe you paid $50,000 for it. And now it's worth a couple $1 million because the real estate market went up considerably over the last 50 years. Okay? All that capital gain that's locked in the building, okay, is not taxable. And you could borrow against that extra value, okay, with the bank. The bank could give you a loan, okay, that's guaranteed by the asset that you have in your house. And that's what Elon Musk is doing. Okay? So that's why it's not like they're cheating. The law is allowing for this. It's 100% legal. Okay? And there's another thing also. I keep getting this question: when do I have to pay the loan? 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 Never. You never have to pay the loan unless the value of your asset drops considerably. So let's say, for instance, in Elon's case, let's say, I don't know, disaster happens, I don't know, fire at one of his mega factories, okay, and the stock drops 50%. If he borrowed too much, okay, and his collateral went down below the threshold, the liquidation threshold, his bank is going to call him and say, okay, Elon, you need to pay back your loan now. So that's a possibility. That's the risk that Elon Musk has right now. If something really bad happens to his Tesla factories, for instance, okay, let's say an accident happens and there's an explosion in the factory, it burns down, and there's a loss of $1 billion because the factory is expensive and whatnot, the stock's going to drop. Okay, that can happen. So yeah, he could get liquidated. The bank could say, okay, we're going to take your stock. You need to pay us back. Okay, that's a possibility. It depends. I don't know. He probably didn't borrow hundreds of billions of dollars, but let's just assume for argument's sake. Okay. All right. So he said, and this is what I just said. He says, the only time I sell Tesla stock, that's Elon Musk talking, is when my stock options are expiring and I have no choice. Okay. Responding to a tweet from one of his supporters. So somebody asked him, when are you going to sell your stock? He said, never. I never want to sell my stocks unless I have to because of the options that are vesting and so on. All right? So unless he has to, he's not going to sell his freaking stock. He's going to keep it forever because this asset keeps growing in value. There's no point in him selling that stock. First of all, his stock went from 70 million to 300 billion. Can you imagine the taxes he would have to pay on this? We're talking hundreds of billions of dollars of taxes. Is anybody crazy enough to want to pay that? Okay? I mean, it would be insane. It would be insane. Okay, there's at least, I think it's 30 or 40% income tax in the United States on capital gains. I mean, it's going to be close to 100 million, 100 billion, sorry, in taxes. It's a ridiculous amount. It's a ridiculous amount. So, you know, you have to understand this. Some loans are good. Personal loans, like credit card loans and personal loans for personal expenses, are usually bad loans, because they're not there to help you generate income. His loans, okay, at least in part, can be used, the interest can be tax deductible, okay, because some of the loans are used for him to finance other businesses, like his SpaceX project, his boring company, and all the other stuff that he's involved. So he's going to borrow against his stock to fund those other businesses. And because the loan is targeted at generating further income, then that's tax deductible. You have to think like that. So enough about Elon. We're going to go and explore Abracadabra. Now, the numbers changed. There's hardly any MIMs that you can borrow against the wMEMO. But today I'm actually going to perform a loan by putting AVAX as collateral. Okay, we're going to go through all the features, and then we're going to pay back the loan and see what happens, right? Okay, so before we get to this, I want you to be absolutely 100% clear on several things. First of all, the MIMs, okay, get replenished, okay, when they run out, but not every day. So basically, it says MIMS left to borrow. For AVAX right now, there's $12 million left of MIMS available to borrow. It's still sitting there because it's not as popular as wMEMO loans. Everybody wants to borrow against the wMEMO. So that's why there's only $59 worth of memos left, of MIMS left. Okay? So a lot of people complain and say, hey, put more MIMS here. Okay, they do that about once a week. Okay, and it's performed manually. Okay, they have a system. They didn't tell me what the system is, but they have a system. Okay, and they figured, okay, now it's time to replenish the MIMS for the wMEMO pool. All right, that's how they do it. It's a manual process. They type something in their computer when they're ready to do it. All right. Now, a lot of people have asked me, well, when the hell do I know when those MIMS are ready for me? Okay, when I can borrow against my wMEMOs. Okay, if you go on Twitter, you have mem_replenishes. You follow that, you turn on the notifications, and you're going to get messages every single time some MIMS are replenished for any of the pools. There are several pools on Abracadabra, so not all of them are just wMEMOs. So for instance, the last one was on October 29th, and it was $21 million worth of MIMS on the Ethereum network for the FTT collateral. Okay, that's not the wMEMO. So if we look down, at some point there was one. Okay, this one's on Phantom. Avalanche. There we go. October 26, there was $10 million worth of MIMS were available to be minted on the Avalanche network for the wMEMO pool. So it's about once a week for this pool. Same thing if you got the wrap staked OHM tokens and you want to borrow against that on the Ethereum network only, not on AVAX, not available yet. I don't know when, if they're going to make it available on AVAX, because you could have the wrap stake on AVAX as well. But they put 500,000 MIMS available. So again, it's about once a week, and it seems to be about the same time. So roughly the same day, they're going to add MIMS for both pools. Now, the wMEMO seems to be a lot more popular than the wrap stake token. Probably because the gas fees are crazy. But that's the way it is. So if you want to know about these, just subscribe, like follow this thing, okay? And you're going to get notified. All right. So this is another thing that confuses a lot of people. There's times, there are memos. Memos are supposed to be memories, but everybody calls them memos. And you have the wMEMO. The W stands for wrapped. Here they explain the wMEMO is a wrapped version of Memo. Users can wrap their memo into wMEMO and receive their rebase. So you see, you receive the rebase. I'm not lying. I told you in many videos, you receive the rebase, but as an increase in the value of the wMEMO rather than an increase in the amount of memo. I'm going to repeat this again. Imagine that the wMEMO is a little box, okay, with a wrapper around, and even put a cute little bow on top. Okay, you put your regular memos inside the box. You wrap them on the Abracadabra network protocol. So it's all wrapped nice and sweet in the little box. How many boxes do you have? You have one box. You can leave your memos in that box for as long as you want, a month, a year, 10 years, whatever. You still have only one box. So that the number of wMEMO tokens is the same. It's not changing. So a lot of people are saying, where are my rebases? Am I getting my rebases? Yes, you are. you're getting the same amount of rebases, the same value of rebases, no matter whether the memos are wrapped or not wrapped, same amount. If you, so in terms of value, so the value of the wrap memo grows every 8 hours, every time you get a rebase, every 8 hours. And it keeps growing and growing and growing and growing every 8 hours forever, as long as it's wrapped. On the other hand, if you have the regular memo that you staked on Wonderland here, you see it says next reward amount and it says something something memo. So they're giving you this amount of new memo tokens every 8 hours. So in 7 hours, 45 minutes, I'm going to get this much memo added to my total memos here. All right, because these are not wrapped. These are plain old regular memo tokens. All right, so let's go back to the right place. Okay, so now a lot of people are like lost about, but where are they? I can't see them. I can't see my wrap memos. Okay. Because what happens is that when you go here, all right, and you have, here it says deposit collateral, wrap memo. So you have to wrap, right? And see, I've got a balance 1.65 memo right now. So let's say I want all of them like this. So I have this value, okay, of memos, and this smaller number of wrap memos. Okay, one wrap memo is worth a lot more than one memo. Okay, because it's a box. Okay, and the value of the box is greater than the value of a single memo. So now when you hit the wrap button here, the memos that are here vanish. They're gone. They disappear completely from the Wonderland website. You don't see them here anymore. And if you're on your Metamask, you're going to see here, if I look at my wallet, see I have the same number of memos here that I have down here. But when I wrap them, this becomes 0 and 0 here as well. So where are they gone? Well, I'll show you how to show them. So first of all, well, I'm not going to do it now because no point, but the collateral that I deposit is going to appear here and here. See, collateral deposit. This is in number of tokens. Okay. So the number of wrap memo tokens generated by the wrapping process is going to appear here and here. Now, to make this appear in your MetaMask so you don't feel lost, you go to the documentation on Wonderland. So it's docs.wonderland.money. And you go down here where it says contracts. Now, if you don't have the time memo added to your MetaMask, you can click on this here and you can get the contract number to use. So I already did it, so I'm not going to do this one. I'm going to do it for the wrap memo. Okay, so it's the same thing for memos and it's the same thing for wrap memos. Now there are two different kinds of wrap memos. There's the wrap memo on AVAX and the wrap memo on Phantom. Currently, only the wrap memo on AVAX can be used as collateral on Abracadabra and can be you can borrow against it. Not yet for Phantom. I'm hoping that that's coming, but I don't know when that would be. So you would have at that point you would have two choices for collateral with wrap memos. So let's go with this one because I didn't add it yet on my MetaMask and I want to add it. All right. So we click on the link And it's going to bring us to the AVAX C-Chain Explorer. So what this is like, it's the blockchain. It's a viewer for the blockchain. It shows all the transactions that happen for this token. This is the address of the wMEMO token. So we hit this here, we copy it, and then we go to Metamask, and we're going to add it. We go to the bottom, we click on Import Tokens, and this is the place where we paste the address. And you see, it says wMEMO here, and it put the decimals automatically. So we add that because I need it, and we import token. We go back here, and if we look at the very bottom, oh, the wMEMO appears. So if I were to wrap my memos on Abracadabra, the value would appear here. And it's the same value on Abracadabra and in your Metamask. All right. Okay. So let's see if we can deposit some asset and borrow against it. So we're not going to use the wMEMO because there's only $2 worth of memos of MIMS left to borrow right now, which is nothing. So let's try AVAX. So I've got a tiny bit of AVAX that in my wallet that we are going to use. Okay. Now I don't have wrapped AVAX at the moment. I have AVAX, so I'm going to click Use AVAX. And in my wallet at the moment, how much do I have? I have 3.3893 AVAX. So this is just for demonstration. So I'm going to put a couple of AVAX, let's say 2.5 AVAX. Okay, and let's check what is safe here. Okay, the maximum allowed to borrow is 70% on this asset. If you watch the first video, you know that for wMEMO the maximum is 25%, and that's considered very risky. Why is it 70% here, and why is it 25% on the wMEMO? Well, the price of the Memo token, which is linked to the Memo and time, have the same value. So time will go up and down very wildly all the time. So Memo will follow at the same rate. Okay, wMEMO will follow as well at the same rate, but not the same value because it's a lot more expensive. Okay, but it still will fluctuate at the same rates. So if time goes up 10%, wMEMO will go up 10% as well. If time goes down 50% because, I don't know, people decided to take their profit or they got liquidated because they borrowed too much, wMEMO will go down 50% also. So they all follow. They all follow. It's not different. Okay, so how much can we borrow? So let's say we hit this here. Now, you don't want to see this because that means it's very, 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 very likely that I'm going to get liquidated. Getting liquidated means that my debt exceeds the value of my collateral or gets too close. When it's too close, Abracadabra doesn't want to lose money, right? They're smart. So they tell you, okay, the value of your token went down. This is the limit. Well, right above this limit, they liquidate you because they take a fee that they redistribute to the other users. Okay, that have the stake spell token. Okay, that's where the fee goes. All right, so this is too high. So here, this would be medium risk. So very high means it's almost certain you're going to get liquidated. Okay, if you don't watch your position and you don't watch the price like 24/7, very likely. It's very likely. 50% here, medium. So this one's like, it's not so bad, but if there's really bad news about AVAX for whatever reason, yeah, the price of AVAX could drop 50%, okay, and you could lose. So about 25%. Okay, this is considered safe because it's very unlikely that the price of AVAX is going to drop 75% and you only have 25% left, okay? So let's stay in the safe zone. We could play with this here. Let's say we want to try to figure out if there's a value between 25 and 50 that's still safe. Well, we can try, let's say 35%. Okay, that's still safe. Can we do 40? Yeah, that's still safe. How about 45? Still safe. So we could go up to 45. Okay, so this is, you know, if you want to stay safe, according to Abracadabra, okay, they figured that it's unlikely for you to get liquidated at this rate, at 45%. All right, so it's up to you. It depends on how much money you need, okay, or you want to play with, and your tolerance for risk. I have a low tolerance, so I'm going to just go with 25. Okay. Now I could just hit this button, add the collateral, and borrow. That's one strategy. Okay, because I say, okay, I want that $38, and I want to invest it in something else, or I want to take this and take it out of the crypto world and cash it out and buy fiat currency with it, get like US dollars, euros, or whatever. Okay, and then I buy whatever I want to buy with it. Okay, that's possible too. All right, so let's play with the leverage. Now you get this message every single time, and as I explained last time, okay, you should click the docs button if you're not familiar with it, and you should read what happens. Okay, this is called a leverage position. They explain how things work. Okay, leveraging a position, that's what we're going to try to do, okay, by playing the leverage game here. Now I want you to know this very, very, very important notice. This bit here. Okay, let's put a little bit of color. Okay, so this is extremely important. If you remember only one thing, remember this. Different from what happens in unleveraged position, it is the leverage position that gets, if the leverage position gets liquidated, they will not, users will not have any assets in their possession. What does that mean? This means you lose 100%. Okay? You lose all your collateral completely. You have zero left. I'm trying to make this as clear as possible, okay? Scary, okay? Dangerous. And that's why I say play safe, okay? Don't go in the red zone unless you want to get liquidated. You know, if you're fooling around and you say, what the hell? I want to see what happens when I get liquidated. Okay, go for it. It's your choice, okay? So this means, okay, that there are two kinds of loans you can have. If you don't hit this button here, and you just put your collateral here, and you take out this loan, and you hit this button, then it's not leveraged. So if it's not leveraged and you get liquidated, So it means if the price of AVAX goes down too much, okay, and it reaches the liquidation threshold, they liquidate you. So they take out the collateral, they pay off this the borrowed MIMs, you pay the interest that you're owed, and you have also a 12.5% liquidation fee on top. So all that is going to be charged to you. Also, when you borrow, it's good to know that you have a 0.5% borrowing fee. And your interest is 1% on this position. It varies according to each asset. Each asset has a different interest rate, a different borrowing fee, different liquidation fee, and so on. And this is the maximum collateral rate. Okay? Right? So you cannot borrow more than 75%. That's what it says here. Okay? And 75% is very likely that you're going to get wrecked. Okay? Very likely that you're going to get liquidated. Okay. All right. So now let's go back to the leverage. So let's say we do leverage. Okay. I'm going to explain again what the leverage is. For those that didn't watch the first video, you should watch it. It's very informative. All right. What this does is that, let's say I'm really bullish on AVAX. I say Avalanche the best. That network keeps growing. The TVL on AVAX keeps growing and growing. There's billions and billions of dollars being invested in on the Avalanche network. And I think the price of AVAX is going to go to the moon. All right? So you really think that the price is going to go up. All right? So you say, okay, I have a little bit of Avalanche right now, and I want to borrow to buy more of Avalanche so that I can maximize my gains when the price of Avalanche goes up, right? So this here allows you to do that automatically. Normally, on most protocols, they don't do these little loops, they call. Normally, you like if you go on AVA, for instance, you can borrow against AVAX as well, right? So you borrow against your AVAX, and then you borrow whatever you want. You could borrow AVAX directly, or you could borrow DAI, USDC, USDT, and then you swap them to buy more AVAX, and then you redeposit your AVAX here as collateral, and then you would borrow more DAI, let's say, against your new collateral that's deposited, and so on, and you loop like this. Okay, so you deposit, borrow, swap, redeposit, borrow, swap, redeposit, swap, and so on. All right, so it's tedious if you want to do this on several loops, and costs a ton of gas, because each time you do one operation, there's a gas fee. Now, the nice people at Abracadabra said, okay, we're going to make people's life easy. If they want a loop, they can do it by pressing just a single button here. Isn't that nice? That's a great thing, I think. All right, so let's see what happens here. Okay, if we do two loops, instead of borrowing 38 MIMs, I would borrow 47 MIMs. Okay, if I do 3 loops, it goes to 49 MIMs, and 4, see the color changes here, and I'm now at 50 MIMs. And even if I went all the way to 10, I'm still only at 50 MIMs. So you're not going to get, this is more than $50 worth of MIMs out of this. So there's no point in doing all these loops. You stop typically you stop at either at 2 or at 3, okay? Because the biggest difference is between 1x and 2x. Beyond that, I mean, is it really worth the trouble to go to 3x? You're getting only $2 worth more. Up to you. But me, it's like typically half the time doing 2x is enough. Of course, my collateral is tiny. If it was like a million AVAX here, okay, it would probably be worth the trouble to go to maybe 5, 6, 7 loops, okay? Because then the amount that's added gets bigger, okay? But point is, now you're borrowing 47.5 MIMs, and they're buying back all this. You're not going to see in your wallet. If you don't leverage, you're going to see 38 MIMs, and I'm going to see 38 MIMs in my wallet. If I leverage, I'm not going to see the 47 MIMs in my wallet because they're used to buy more AVAX and put them back in the collateral here. You see the what's happening? All right. So let's do both operations and see what happens. Okay. So we're going to do the not leverage version first. We're going to borrow this. I believe I have to repay back first, and then after that we'll do borrow again and do a leverage. Okay. Okay, so we're going to start by doing a simple borrowing, not leveraged, an unleveraged loan, okay? In this case, I already have wrapped AVAX in my wallet, so we're going to use wrapped AVAX, okay? If you have AVAX and you don't have wrapped AVAX, that's fine. You can click the button here that says use AVAX, and it's going to wrap it. And it's going to be deposited as collateral. Now when you take it out, it's going to be taken out as wrapped AVAX. Okay? And if you need regular AVAX, well, you can go to Trader Joe and switch back and forth between your wrapped AVAX and your regular AVAX. Okay, it's 1 for 1. So if you've got 100 wrapped AVAX, you're going to get 100 AVAX. But here they wrap it if you give them regular AVAX. So let's try that. So we've got 2.5 wrapped AVAX. It's a small amount. I'm just doing it for demonstration. And we want to borrow, and we're going to stay in the safe zone. I don't want to get wrecked. If I put high like this, very good chance that I'm going to get liquidated. I don't want to take that chance. It's just demonstration. Okay? And I don't want to lose my money. So we're going to go to 25%. That should be good enough. And there's a single button to add the collateral and to borrow. Okay, it's all done. So we're getting $38 worth of MIMs. Now, it's a good idea to add the MIM to your wallet so that you can see it, right? Because Metamask doesn't do that automatically. Once again, if you go to the documentation, they have a link to MIM, sorry, wrong place, this one. So you click this link here, you can copy the contract address to MIM, and you can add it to your Metamask, like I did earlier for wMEMO, same thing. All right, so add collateral and borrow. Let's try that, see if it works. Right, now we get our Metamask notification. It says to confirm, so we confirm. Thanks. Consider yourself extremely early in taking part of the stable coin that has no bias and knows no walls. MIM stable for everyone, everywhere. So cute. Okay, so is it working? All right, so it seems to be cooked. So it says here, cook. Ah, see, the position changed. Sometimes you need to refresh the page. I'm going to do that now because I want all the numbers to appear properly. So let's do that. And we go back here. Yeah, see, you don't want these numbers here anymore. You want to see your numbers here and at the bottom here. All right. So this is my open position as it stands right now, this very second. So I deposited 2.5 wAVAX tokens, wrapped AVAX tokens. That's not going to change. They don't grow. Okay, those poor guys don't get any rebases, and they don't grow in value by them through rebases either. So it's going to stay at 2.5. Okay. Now the collateral value can change. If my if AVAX goes up, the wAVAX will go up as well, and my collateral value will go up. If my collateral value goes up, the MIMS left to borrow would go up as well. I could borrow more. Now currently I borrowed $38 worth of MIMS. This is my balance in my wallet. So my wAVAX is 0 because it's here, not in my wallet. I still have a little bit of AVAX that I keep there in my Metamask wallet to pay for gas. That's normal. And here I have $53 worth of MIMS because I like to keep a little bit of extra MIMS. Why do I do that? If I want to repay this loan, I have to pay interest, and so I need more than the actual amount that I have here. Okay, the longer I wait to pay this back, the more interest I have to pay, right? So if I want to repay the loan, I need more in my wallet. So I already took care of that because I want to show you how to repay. All right, so now this is your liquidation price. It says $20. What does this mean? This is the price of one wAVAX, which is the same as one AVAX. $62 right now, or 62 MIMS. So from $62, AVAX would have to drop to $20 before I get liquidated. Okay? And if I get liquidated, they're going to charge me a 12.5% liquidation fee as well. Now there's a borrow fee of 0.5% that I paid, and there's a 1% interest. That's an APR. Okay, so per year that I have to pay. Okay, so I think we covered everything here. All right, so let's say, all right, I'm tired of borrowing for whatever reason, and I want to repay. So we click on repay. And if you have two choices. Right now, I borrowed 38 MIMS. I could pay back, I don't know, 20 MIMS. That's allowed. You don't have to pay back everything. Okay? Why would you do this? Well, if you think you're going to get too close to your liquidation, but you don't want to close the whole position, you could simply deposit more MIMS. So you deposit MIMS to repay the loan, to try to avoid liquidation. Or, if you go back on the borrow side, you could deposit more collateral as well. But let's go with this instead. So right now what I want to do, let's just say that you wanted to pay $20 back, you would have to hit repay. Okay, now the button changes if we hit max. Now the button here will only work, pay attention, this is important. This button does not work if you don't have more than this this amount of MIMS in your wallet down here. That's the same amount I have in my Metamask right there. So assets, and we'll go down, 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 down to MIM. Where is it? MIM, here. See? Same amount of MIM here as here. Alright, so this amount has to be bigger than this amount. If it's not, this button will not work. So let's try to pay back everything. So right now I want to remove my wAVAX from here, put it back in my wallet, and I want to pay back the loan plus the interest. So let's click that. Metamask comes back, and we confirm. All right. So let's see if it's cooked. It's pending. The cooking is pending. Now it's cooked. All right. So now the numbers did not change yet. We will refresh, because sometimes it's slow to refresh by itself. So it's refreshed. We go back here. Now you see my open position that has been cleared. It's all zeros now. And if we look down here, I got back my 2.5 wAVAX. I paid a little bit of gas. And I have whatever's left of MIMS, okay, after I repaid them and paid back whatever interest for the time that I borrowed. Okay? So that's just the plain old unleveraged position. All right. Now we can do a leveraged position. Let's see what happens. So we go back to borrow. We're at borrow already. So in this case, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to deposit 2.5 wAVAX. We're going to borrow 25. We want to change this, and as I said before in the previous video, if you borrow here on the leverage position, you risk total loss. So let's review that again, just make sure we got that. Okay, this bit here in red. This is extremely important, so make sure you read this and understand it first. Different from what happens in unleveraged positions, if the leverage position is liquidated, users will not have any assets in their possession. So, if the price of AVAX drops too much and I get liquidated in the leverage position only, I lose all my asset that I deposited as collateral. 100%. Total loss. Gone. Finished. So make sure that you know what you're doing here. Okay? I'm not sure why they take all. I guess it has to be done for everything to get balanced. I'm not sure. But that's the way it is. Okay, so now we know the risks, and that's why I try to keep it safe. I don't like to go over 25%. I want to stay in the green like this. I want to see the word safe here. I don't want to go here. I could borrow a lot more. But if I'm here and I get liquidated, I lose everything. I lose all this. Of course, the MIMS that are in my wallet, okay, I would lose the 2.5 wAVAX, but the MIMS that I borrowed, okay, they would stay. If I get liquidated and it's not leveraged, okay, that's a distinction. If it's not leveraged, I keep the MIMS and I lose part of this when it's not leveraged. When it's leveraged, I lose the AVAX and I lose the MIMS. I lose everything. Okay? Let's make sure that's very clear. All right, so we look at the loops here. The loops are, we take the money, let's go back to 25%, I don't want to get wrecked. So we have AVAX. I think that the AVAX is going to go to the moon. I'm super bullish on AVAX. So I say, okay, I'm going to borrow against my AVAX. I'm going to buy more AVAX with the MIMS. Okay, so I'm going to swap the MIMS for more AVAX. I'm going to redeposit them here as collateral. And then I'm going to borrow against the new MIMS that I'm going to borrow on that new collateral. And so on and so on. So each time I do that, that's called a loop. Okay? So you deposit here, you borrow, you swap the MIMS for more AVAX, you redeposit the AVAX here. Okay? And then you borrow more MIMS on the new collateral, and you swap again, and you redeposit the new collateral, and so on and so on and so on and so on. Okay? That's looping. Now, if we're at 1x, it's like we're not looping at all. If we do 2x, you notice that the amount here is greater. And now I have 47 MIMS borrowed. And instead of 38. What happens if I do 3x? Look at the amount. It's not going to go up that much. Now it's 50. So I gain about $3. Okay, my collateral is very small, but you see that each time you do another loop, see, it's tiny. The amount is barely noticeable here. So the one that gives you the most leverage is the first, is when you do this 2x. Okay, that's when you get the most leverage. 3x still okay in most cases. Most people will probably have a bigger position than this. If you have several $1,000s, yeah, it's still worth the trouble doing 3x, maybe even 4 if you got like, I don't know, 100,000 or something. Okay, you're still gonna get a significant amount of extra MIMS borrowed. But right now, if it's only $2-3 extra, what's the point? Okay, it's not that exciting for me. So I'm just going to go 2x here for demonstration purposes. Okay, so what does this mean? I'm borrowing 47 MIMS, and they're all going to be used to buy more AVAX that are going to be redeposited here. Okay, so let's try that and see what happens. Now, I have a new expected liquidation price, $19.71. So AVAX would have to drop that low for me to get liquidated. And at that point, I lose everything. I lose this whole position. I lose the MIMS, I lose the AVAX, I lose it all. Okay? So be careful when you do this. So we add the collateral and you do the borrowing. Okay, now look at the numbers here, they're going to change. This is my AVAX, this is the MIMS I have. The MIMS are not going to change, but the AVAX is going to drop for the gas fees, and this is going to become 0 here. So let's try that. Confirm on Metamask. Okay. Another message. I have to pay a little bit more AVAX to pay the fees, I believe. Yes. Thank you. All right, we're good. All right, let's check if it's confirmed or not. Pending, and it's cooked. All done. All right. Okay. So notice that at the beginning I only had 2.5 AVAX. But because I looped and I borrowed extra, the program automatically swapped the MIMS and bought more AVAX with it. So now I've got 3.27 wAVAX tokens instead of just 2.5. Understand? Now, the value of this collateral is now $204 at this moment. The value of the collateral will go up and down according to the price of AVAX. The price of AVAX and the price of wAVAX are the same. They follow each other. Now, total MIMS borrowed, $47.99. Liquidation price, $19.56. So my AVAX would have to drop to $19.56 before the position is liquidated. And I'm repeating again, if I get liquidated, because it's a leverage position, I click that button here for leverage, I lose everything. Okay, make sure you get this. This is extremely risky if you go 70%, okay? Very good chance you're gonna get liquidated, and very good chance you lose everything here, okay? Make sure you understand that. MIMS left to borrow. Theoretically, because I'm allowed to borrow up to 70%, theoretically, I could borrow another 103. I don't want to do that because that's going to increase my risk. I want to manage my risk. I want to keep the risk as low as possible, so it's easy for me to sleep at night. I like to sleep at night, okay? Not have to worry about getting liquidated. Okay, now it didn't change here, so we're going to refresh. I want to make sure we have all the data updated. Okay, so this is all good here. We saw that already. And as we expected, the wAVAX here is gone because it's deposited here. I lost a little bit of AVAX because I paid some gas, and my MIMS did not go up by $47 because they're used in here to buy more collateral. Okay, so you're not going to see more MIMS in your Metamask when you do a leverage position. Okay. All right, so let's say we want to repay your leverage position. If you don't have enough MIMS to pay back all the MIMS that you borrowed for this leverage position, you need to deleverage using this button. And they will take the missing MIMS out of your collateral. And there's some extra fees because they're using a flash loan system for this, and they have to pay for the flash loan facilities. Now, if your swap tolerance is too low and you try to do this, often it will not process. Metamask is not happening right now. So you have to increase your swap tolerance a little bit. So we're going to use 3, and we're going to try to remove everything. So we want to pay back all the MIMS and remove all the collateral. So we hit the button and see if Metamask wants to react. Yes. Let's try that. And is it happening? So we're still cooking. Okay, it says cooked, so that should be successful. Okay, I've got my wAVAX back, minus a small fee that was deducted from it to pay back the interest that was missing, and the extra, basically they have to take some of my wAVAX, swap it for MIMS, okay? So there's a fee for that. And the whole transaction goes through what they call flash loans, so they have to pay for the flash loan facilities as well, okay? And that's why the amount here is smaller. I used to have 2.59, it's 2.473. Okay, all right, so if we refresh, okay, it's refreshed partially, so we're going to refresh. Now if we look at this, there's still a tiny bit of AVAX left here, okay. Not sure if we're able to remove that, but they talk about it in the documentation. They call it dust. Okay, when you have like tiny amounts, there's still a tiny amount of MIM borrowed, 100th of a cent approximately here. And there's a tiny bit of collateral deposited here as well. So, you know, it's not perfect. They're apparently working on a solution, but I don't know when that solution is going to happen. So, this is what happens when you close your position and you repay. All right, so you repay, and if you don't have enough MIMS in your wallet, they'll deduct whatever they need out of your collateral. So it works like this for AVAX, and it's the same for wMEMOs. And if you use wsOHM, same thing. Okay, except that wsOHM are currently only available on Ethereum, not Avalanche at the moment. Well, on Abracadabra, I mean. Okay, so I wanted to cover a couple of other things. Why are we doing all this, right? Remember Elon Musk, okay? He borrows money in order to get cash flow out of his Tesla stock, okay? He borrows against his Tesla stock. So here it's more or less the same. Instead of a stock, it's our crypto. And in this experiment, we used AVAX, but a lot of people want to know how to use wMEMO, for instance. So I did the math for you. And this is what on for the wMEMO, we're not allowed to borrow up to 70%. If we check here, the maximum is 25%, and that's considered high risk. So typically, I would change it for around 10%, and that's considered safe. Okay. So I put here 10% as well. So let's assume that you deposit wMEMOs as collateral, and they're worth $10,000 right now at this moment. And this is the current reward rate on Wonderland, 0.5956% every 8 hours. Okay. So every 8 hours, this will go up and up and up and up and up and up. Okay, these are weeks, so we've got 24 weeks here. And this is how much we are able to borrow, assuming that the price of wMEMO doesn't change. Obviously, it's going to change, but you know, I cannot predict future prices. So we just assume, okay, that for some reason the price of the wMEMO stays the same, but it increases, the wMEMO increases in value simply because of the rebases. Okay. So after 1 week, we earn $1,328. So our total wMEMO is worth $11,328. So let's say that every week we go on Abracadabra and we take a loan out and to make sure that we have exactly 10% of the value of our wMEMO. So the first, the week 0, the day we deposit, we can take out a loan of 1,000 because it's 10% of 10,000. And then because we're earning 1,328 for the first week, we've got $132 that we can borrow out of that. And it grows and grows and grows and grows gradually over the weeks. And at week 24, you can borrow 2,338. All right. So, okay, of course, the first few months, okay, you probably cannot live on this, right? This is 1 month, so it's approximately $700 roughly, give or take, okay? And then the second month is closer to 1,000. And then the next month, you've got close to $2,000 in there. The third month, you've got 3,000 something, getting close to 4,000 a month. And then the last month, you have well over 6,000, almost about $7,000. So if you wait 7 months, you can have extra cash flow about $7,000 a month out of this, which is enough for like most people, I would think. Okay, probably even a lot less than that. A lot of people can live on a lot less than $7,000 a month. Okay, so that's the strategy that is used by many wealthy people, such as Elon Musk. Instead of selling their stock or wMEMOs, they keep it invested. It grows in value over time, and it grows faster and faster and faster. So, okay, the first 3-4 months, maybe you're not earning enough. The value here is not growing fast enough for you to borrow enough per month to live on it exclusively. But by week 21, there's definitely more than enough for the average mortal. Okay, and that's what we're talking about. Getting cash flow out of your asset, your yield-bearing asset, so that you can live off it. And because it's a loan, there are no taxable events. You're not selling this position. The rebases are integrated in the value of the asset, and the asset value keeps growing and growing and growing with each rebase. So it's not income. And the borrowings are also not called income either. In here, the growing value is simply an unrealized capital gain. It's not realized until you sell the token. And when you sell the token, then it's a taxable event, and then you're probably going to be taxed depending on your country. Apparently, Portugal doesn't tax on crypto. So, if you're making a lot of money with crypto, maybe you want to relocate to Portugal. So, and then you can have a lot of cash flow that you could borrow while staying in the safe limit of 10%. Okay? And you don't have to borrow all of it if you don't need it. If you don't need 10% and you can live off 5%, then take 5%. Doesn't make a difference. This will still grow according to the rate published on Wonderland's website. Okay? So that's the strategy, and I wanted to show you the numbers so that you can see that every week the value of this thing keeps growing and growing and growing due to the power of compound interest. And if you don't believe me, go do the calculation by watching the video that I made, Wonderland APY calculation. I show you how to do it on your phone calculator. Very easy. Okay? So, I use the same formula in here. Okay? But maybe this way it illustrates better for you that you're making, this value keeps growing, and you can borrow more and more and more, and you never have to really pay this back as long as this value keeps growing. Obviously, if there's a huge bear market and everything crashes and drops in value by 50%, you're still going to be okay here. But instead of your borrowings, instead of being 10% of the total value, they might double or triple. So you have to be careful that you don't get wrecked. Okay? So if you think that the market is going down too much, you can pay back some of the loan. Okay? Or add more collateral, whatever. Whatever works. Okay? Now, I'm going to finish by answering a question that a lot of people have asked me. So people have their wrap staked home, okay, on one network, and they want to move them to another network for whatever reason they want to do that. So either they have their wrap staked on Ethereum, and they want to switch them for Avalanche, or they have it on Avalanche and they want to put them on Ethereum. Well, you go to any swap, you click on router, and you can type right staked home here, and you can switch between Avalanche and Ethereum, for instance. Hello. Should have worked. Okay, now it's Arbitrum. Okay, Ethereum. Now we got Ethereum. So let's say you bought your wrap staked home on Avalanche. You want to put it on Ethereum because on Abracadabra right now it's only the loan facility is only available on Ethereum. That's a way to do it. Or you bought your own tokens on Ethereum, and you want to wrap them, and you want to put them on Avalanche because you saw an opportunity to earn an APR on top of your rebases on your wrap staked home on Avalanche. Then you turn this around. You change this for Ethereum here. It's going to ask me to change my network on my wallet, but anyway, you just reverse it. You put Ethereum up here and you put Avalanche on here. Okay, and that should work. I believe you can do the same with wrap memos. You can move your wrap memos around if you want. Not sure why you would. You might want to move them from AVAX to Phantom. That's where the opportunities are. Okay, that's it for this very, very long video. If you like this kind of stuff, please like and subscribe so that the algorithm finds us. Okay? I want the algorithm to find this channel so more people can enjoy the videos. Ring the bell so you know when I'm publishing the next video. Download the free book. It explains several strategies on how to borrow money on crypto safely. A little bit different from this one, but pretty similar. And if you don't want it for free, you go on Amazon, you pay $5.99 to Jeff Bezos, and Jeff will send me $1 later. See you.